last 3 or 4 games, but I think the return of Martin Waghorn should reignite them, should give them a lift and push them towards that big Scottish Cup final.
5th meeting of the sides since August, the 4 previous encounters in the Championship and Challenge Cup going Rangers' way by a combined 9 goals to 1. Final day in the Ladbrokes Championship. St Mirren already building for another season in this same division. Rangers planning for the Premiership. What started on the 11th of August 2012 in Peterhead will end much closer to Rangers' home on this, the first day in May 2016. Gideon Zelalem back the way. Danny Wilson and Rob Kiernan, the central defenders for Rangers this afternoon. Grey day here in Paisley. It was much colder when we arrived here a few hours ago. The rain has stopped as well. I'm delighted to be able to report. James Tavernier. Jason Holt, one of the big Rangers success stories this term. Kiernan. Rangers, remember, are trying to stop the rot. Not been in the best of form. It's 1 point from 3 games since ousting Celtic in the Scottish Cup semi-final. Flicked by Lee Wallace. Touch for Jamie Langfield. He gets away with that. Mirren attacking the goal to our left in the first half. Lawrence Shackland leading the line. There's Martin Waghorn. Gary Urban trying to get right on top of him. Holt. Zelalem. Barry Mackay. He's trying to manoeuvre his way into position. No problems for Langfield. Early stages.
Well, you just understand the sense of excitement from Rangers fans when Barry Mackay picks the ball up. You think he's going to go past, but he's going to take men on. And Mark Borwarton will be interested to see what the kind of mentality is like of his side today. Will he be up for the game? Will he play with intensity? The last few games have been disappointing.
Callum Gallagher joins St Mirren from Rangers at the beginning of the season, just 3 days later for St Mirren colours at Ibrox. Jason Naismith, who's back in business. St Mirren fans delighted about that. A successive start after missing 36 games in all because of an ACL problem. Shankland often does the honours when it comes to long throws. Quite fall for St Mirren inside the box. Kenny Miller. Andy Webster in the heart of the St Mirren defence. St Mirren managed by Alec Ray. And he has steadied the ship. That really was the remit after he took over the reins from Ian Murray. Former Rangers player, 44 appearances for the club between 2004 and 2006.
And I think the one thing you get from Alec Ray, that he's an infectious character, Derek. The players like working under him. He's enthusiastic. He likes to be about the players. That sometimes picks you up, and I think it's a huge attraction for anybody wanting to come to St Mirren, is the fact that Alec Ray joins in and is one of the lads, but also has that authority.
Already thinking about next season, who might sign up. Waghorn with a measured pass to Kenny Miller. He's enjoying a fabulous 2016 so far. Miller. Holt. Miller again. Andy Halliday. And now Rob Kiernan. Was by Miller. The footsteps of Rocco Quinn. Just signed a new 2-year contract with St Mirren. Lawrence Shackland. And he's confident from that sort of range. Andy Halliday was helping out his defenders. Quinn playing beside Mallon in central midfield. This is Naismith. Wallace doing the shepherding. And the Rangers captain, nominated for the PFA Scotland Championship Player of the Year award. All will be revealed at a dinner just a few miles from here in Glasgow tonight.
Well, that was encouraging play from St Mirren. David Clarkson was pressing, Shankland was pressing, Stevie Mallon was on the front foot. So I think Alec Ray will be delighted with the start that his team have made. They haven't stood off, they haven't let Rangers dictate.
Miller. Irvin. Been a terrific pro over the years, Gary Irvine. Shankland sees the decision go St Mirren's way. He's enjoyed his year here in Paisley. Irvine. And out of play by Kiernan. Rangers have won 16 of the last 19 against St Mirren in all competitions. Clarkson trying to link the play. Vastly experienced David Clarkson. Jimmy Langfield, not just the goalkeeper, member of the coaching staff. Danny Wilson. Towards Barry Mackay. St Mirren ball.
I think when you talk about the experience of Langfield and Webster and David Clarkson, it's important when you have a small squad. You have to have the right type of experienced player, Derek. I think Alec Ray has to get the balance right. I think Rangers certainly have got it right. You have someone like Kenny Miller who's infectious for the rest of his teammates. So both managers working along the same lines.
Not in the 6th minute. Applause from the St Mirren fans for their club's number 6, Jim Goodwin. You might see him on the pitch a bit later. That's a nice touch. And just leaning over there to recognise the supporters. Thanks very much for the memories. He would like to continue in football in some capacity.
It's always nice to see the good guys rewarded in football, Derek. I know many fans throughout the country like to see Jim as the villain all the time, but the way he works, the way he puts himself about, he's been a great advert for this club.
I'll get ready for the 9th minute because I think we know what's coming. Jim Goodwin and Stephen Thompson taking part in their last games as professionals for St Mirren. Lee Wallace. Started every single match this season, the Rangers skipper.
He's been terrific, hasn't he, Lee Wallace? I think Mark Warburton has probably revitalised his career. He's given different options in possession of the ball. I think his movement's a lot better, probably a lot different than what he's ever done, Derek. So, you see him striding forward, you see him taking the game on. Plus, captain of the club, he's really, really enjoyed himself.
It's Kiernan. Cut out by Naismith initially. Danny Wilson. Safely back to Wes Foderingham. Across the defence it goes. Damage done. Holt. Halliday. It's being hounded by Clarkson. Mackay. He has come on leaps and bounds. And scored Rangers' first goal in the lower divisions against Peterhead. Balmoor, August 2012. Well, technically this is the 9th minute, but usually the fans wait until the clock strikes 9. Taken by Gary Irvine for St Mirren. Here we are, 9 minutes on the clock. Thanks very much to Stephen Thompson. I'm not sure he was aware initially, deep in thought. With a smile on the face of a great St Mirren servant, former Rangers player too. I was certain to see Stephen Thompson come off the bench, perhaps in the second half.
I think again it's just reward for one of the good guys of football who's worked ever so hard, who's used his ability, he's played in big games, he's played for the club that he supported and loved. So I think it's great reward for these fans to go up and just show their appreciation for what he's done.
Clapping back. Stephen Thompson grew up supporting St Mirren. He attended the 1987 Cup final, which they were victorious against Dundee United. That goal from Ian Ferguson. Well, they don't make too many like Stephen Thompson.
I think a fitting reward for these two players would be for their club to win this match today. You know, I think the way they've started the game, you know, they're closing Rangers down, they're keeping their shape. You know, they understand if they open themselves up, Rangers can pick them off. So for them, it'd be nice to go and try and win the game.
Tavernier is trying to blot out St Mirren. One was made by Alex Cooper. Irvin getting it from Mallon. Alex Cooper, Fodringham watching, not having to deal with it. Alex Cooper, the son of Neil Cooper, best known for his time at Aberdeen, but also played for Rangers, let's not forget.
That was disappointing in the end. You know, Alex Cooper's done well. I think St Mirren have worked the ball well into the left-hand channel. Disappointing cross, but Rangers still look a little bit flat, Derek. You know, they haven't got that intensity we've seen 6-7 weeks ago. Sometimes when the games don't mean as much, you can lose that little edge to your game. Certainly Rangers seem to have lost that, but you know, I just would like to see their passing being a little bit quicker, the movement being a little bit sharper.
Waghorn, nothing wrong with that idea. Jason Holt, who's netted twice already against St Mirren this season, including the only goal in the October meeting of the sides. Wallace was powering forward on the concession of a corner.
And that's just Lee Wallace at his best. You know, Callum Gallagher is a strong runner. He can get himself back into position, but just shows the pace and the power of Lee Wallace, continually looking to overlap that left-hand side.
To led by Mackay speculatively. Ball had gone out. Kenny Miller doing his best to keep it in. Team of officials today, headed up by Don Robertson. Jamie Langfield, Paisley born. It's a 2-year deal he signed with St Mirren in the summer. Received his testimonial from Aberdeen, the match against Brighton back in July.
Again, you know, he'll be an integral part of the squad next year for Alec Ray. He'll look after the dressing room, he'll speak to the players. He's that figurehead that younger players like to look to and see what they do and how they conduct themselves, and you know, Jamie's the right type.
Wallace. Mackay. Instant control from Martin Waghorn. Going one way then the other. Rangers fans delighted to see Waghorn in the team again. It's going to be a corner. 20 of his 28 goals have come in the championship. Pretty short by Holt. Rangers very fond of short corners under Mark Warburton. Moving ball from Tavernier. Danny Wilson was prepared to attack it. They're not getting away with that.
That's good defending by Jason Naismith. You know, it isn't very often you see a 6'2" right back, but certainly in a good position. He wins a header, but it's Lee Wallace getting up again. But St Mirren holding their own, doing okay, playing well enough, moving the ball around about. I think Alec Ray would like to see a little bit more threat going forward, but certainly defensively they've done okay.
Possession wise, 65% for Rangers up to this point. St Mirren, by the way, have recorded just 2 home victories against Rangers since 1986. 2008 and 2011 for the Buddies. But they were a bit unlucky. The last Rangers were in Paisley on championship duty in October. St Mirren came flying out of the traps that day. Jason Holt with the goal that altered the course of events. Stevie Mallon. Andy Webster was playing alongside Keith Watson. Teammates at Dundee United, not necessarily central defensive partners then. I have to think of Watson as a right back, or that's been the case down the years.
Well, I think he's on the verge of going to St Johnstone, I believe, Derek. You know, there's been a lot of speculation in the paper. Speaking to Alec Ray yesterday, he seems to think that he'll move on from the club, so he'll be a big loss. But yeah, certainly more of a right back than a right central defender.
It's going to be a summer of change here in Paisley for St Mirren. A few heading out, quite a few coming in. Waghorn. Wilson. Rangers in gearing up mode for the cup final. 21st of May against Hibernian. They've arranged a closed doors game a week on Wednesday against Tottenham at their training ground. Gary Irvin. Clarkson wanted it. And the block by Gideon Zelalem. Halliday to Miller. And a veer away from Stevie Mallon. The defensive side of Mallon's game, still a bit of a work in progress.
Well, I think that's a cynical foul. I think Rangers are just slightly outnumbered St Mirren there when they'd gone forward. They were caught in the hop a little bit, so it's a clever free kick in the end. But again, just slightly before that, it was good play by St Mirren. Stevie Mallon at the fulcrum of it all, moving the ball sharp. I think he looks a lot more accomplished as a player since we last seen him in the Scottish Premiership.
Certainly maturing, Stevie Mallon. I'd argue with his output. 14 goals in all competitions. It's a ricochet off referee Don Robertson. Tavernier spoons it towards Miller, thwarted by Webster. James Tavernier. 15 goals to his name. Not bad from right back, is it? Clarkson. Shankland with Quinn supporting. Gallagher. Just bouncing it off Wallace.
And it's just that final thing for St Mirren. They're working the ball well through the three zones, into midfield, up the striker. But just that final third, they're just lacking that little bit of creativity, that little bit of guile just to unlock this Rangers defence.
Callum Gallagher. Wallace going over to have a look at his former teammate. It's a one-year contract that Gallagher signed initially with St Mirren. He's featured in every game for the Buddies since joining. And Stephen Thompson doing a bit of limbering up in front of the main stand.
It does take a little bit longer to get the body warmed up, Derek, when you're 37, 38 years of age. So I think this is Tomo getting warmed up to come on in the 78th minute. It takes you a little while just to get the body warm.
Also credit to the Rangers fans as well, looking away to my right. And they were applauding Stephen Thompson as well. Here is Holt. Wallace. Which has gone through Mackay for Rangers this season. Wallace. The return feed, Lee Wallace. And Langfield is trying to claw it away. Webster behind.
That was better pacing from Rangers, moving the ball around the box, playing one touch, playing two touch, rather than dwelling on the ball.
Rangers getting on with it. Here's Gideon Zelalem. Very bright young American. Tavernier. And Waghorn has taken up his position inside the box. Martin Waghorn tonight by the woodwork. Closest so far. The boot of the returning Martin Waghorn. Rangers will want him ready for the Scottish Cup final. Still looks sharp despite the lengthy layoff. Beautiful play from Gideon Zelalem, dishing it to Waghorn. Wide it goes, twice in the space of 30 seconds. Waghorn popping up.
And it's Martin Waghorn again, just showing his quality, showing his abilities. Zelalem, great little turn in the middle of the pitch. Waghorn always moving the ball, always trying to get onto his left foot. You see him here, always dipping, always moving. Completely favours his left-hand side. Jimmy Langfield's beaten all hands down, but that's the presence that Martin Waghorn has. That's the one the fans love to see. He could be the difference, not just in this game, but also the big game at the end of May.
Danny Wilson is vying for it. David Clarkson putting in the challenge there, Clarkson, getting close to the ball. Mackay. Halliday, Tavernier. Waghorn and Tavernier working together. James Tavernier, who now holds the record for goals by a Rangers fullback. 15 in all. Mackay. 20 minutes have elapsed in Paisley. Manny Mackay looking to thread it through. Waghorn and Zelalem and Miller. St Mirren stand firm. Wallace all along the ground. Langfield has custody of it. How would you sum up the overall pattern so far, Stephen, with 20 minutes on the clock?
Well, I think the last 4 or 5 minutes Rangers have started to dominate. Started to move the ball a little bit quicker, with Waghorn hitting the post. Seems to have just galvanised them a little bit. They're a little bit sharper in the play. They're moving the ball. St Mirren are starting to get a little bit camped in. Alec Ray will want them to try and play a little bit higher. But Rangers, as they always do, dominate possession, dictate the game. They'll be looking for the breakthrough.
Tavernier's pass. Danny Wilson. Shown a red card against St Mirren in the League Cup final of 2010. Previous spell with Rangers. Down goes Gideon Zelalem.
I'm sure this is the tactic that Rangers have come up against many times this season, Derek, is teams sitting behind the ball, locking in, being hard to play against, limiting space. So, they've had to work at it continue throughout the season. They won't panic in this situation. They'll try and move the ball, they'll wait for that little gap, and then they'll go and try and be clinical.
Mark Robertson, David Weir, reflecting on events so far. Picked on by Clarkson. Halliday. Zelalem. Mackay was crying out for it to be played to him, with the arms outstretched. Miller. Rangers' last game in the lower divisions. That's the last ever. Mackay. And Wallace was in that attacking position. Lee Wallace, the Rangers captain. Goal kick it is.
That's Barry Mackay at his best again, being 1v1 against people. His low centre of gravity, he's able to move the ball, turn and twist. Jason Naismith eventually does well, but that's what Barry Mackay wants to be 1v1. Just unfortunately couldn't get the ball to Lee Wallace. He did in the end, just shot, didn't get off, but that's what they want. Feed him the ball as much as they possibly can.
Rangers fans behind that goal, the south goal at the north end as well, in a section of the west stand. Some of the St Mirren season ticket holders had to be moved. Gary Irvin directing operations. He's been Dundee for 5.5 years. I'm sure he'll be watching with interest certain derby tomorrow. Scooped in there by Irvin. Rangers taking control at the set piece defensively. Mallon. Pretty well shackled so far, Stevie Mallon. It's usually where the opposition starts with St Mirren, keeping this man quiet.
I think he's neat and tidy in possession of the ball. When you play against the bigger sides, Derek, that's when people like to judge you. Can you go and affect the game? Can you have the same impact? He hasn't today, but I think in possession he's been neat and tidy. But 14 goals from midfield tells you he has to do a little bit more going forward in this game.
Mackay. Mother was over there beside the touchline. Wallace. Maybe a little bit of an overload. St Mirren, but Miller's pass goes astray. Cooper. Accurate pass to Shankland. Mallon looking around him. And Shankland. In the thick of things, it's Kiernan away. Only to Mallon. Gallagher did well enough. Stevie Mallon. And Danny Wilson. Ball goes out right beside the corner flag.
It was a little bit unorthodox, wasn't it? You know, I thought it was probably easier for Danny Wilson to go with his right foot, but very strong on his left. Just gives St Mirren a little chance, gives the defenders a little bit of breathing space, just to play in Rangers half for a little while.
The long throw to be attempted by Shankland, very much in his repertoire. It was away by Kiernan for Rangers. Back in by Mallon. Appealing for offside. Just couldn't quite finish it off, St Mirren. Keith Watson in that central position.
It's a little bit better from St Mirren, you know, putting the ball into the box, trying to lock on, picking up second balls on the edge of the box, just recycling it, trying to pose Rangers some problems.
Jason Naismith. Shankland does get involved in linking the play. Debate there. Rangers thought it would be their ball, and that was indeed the case, but Lee Wallace was told to march back a few yards. And keep an eye on this fellow. Watch this. His moment in the spotlight. No pressure there on Wallace. Being applied by Gallagher, but now scope for Zelalem to get forward. Miller. Tavernier. It's Gary Irvin. The skill that we saw earlier from Shea MacArthur. Well done.
Well, I know Alec Ray's budget's a little bit low next year, so he may make the matchday squad, Derek.
Sure, he'll be reviewing the tape of the game later. Barry Mackay. Andy Halliday. Here's James Tavernier. Scored the goal against Dumbarton on the 5th of April that clinched the championship title for Rangers. Waghorn. Tavernier. Andy Halliday knew that Clarkson was moving towards him. Wallace. And here's Zelalem. Moving into the middle, Gideon Zelalem. Barry Mackay. Deflection there. And that means a corner.
Again, good patient play, moving the ball side to side, waiting for St Mirren to switch off, waiting for someone to run out of position. They didn't, credit to them, but unfortunately that man of the moment, Barry Mackay, just passed for a corner kick.
Taken short by Holt to Mackay. Able to get around Stevie Mallon. Wallace. Gallagher nearly tripping over. These two have seen plenty of each other. Callum Gallagher and Lee Wallace. Andy Halliday. Tavernier and Kiernan went in tenaciously. Tavernier came off Cooper. Zelalem. Now Holt. Waghorn wants it played to him. Martin Waghorn has it now. Waghorn against Irvin initially. That pass, Miller was in there. Holt lining up the shot. St Mirren defending manfully. Mackay, Miller, fancy footwork, still going. Kenny Miller. Just came off Holt, I think, and then Miller.
And it was good play all around. It's good play by Rangers. Short, sharp passes around the box. Gary Miller's took one in the face, but I think just slightly before that, good defending by St Mirren. You know, blocking the ball, closing people down. Rangers just passing and probing, just waiting for that little breakthrough, trying to unlock the back door.
Tomorrow night will be in the city of discovery. Dundee could relegate their city rivals. 7 o'clock tomorrow, BT Sport 1. Richard Goff in attendance today, former Dundee United player. And remember, United's game away to Inverness on Friday, BT Sport 1, 7:15. Mackay. Still trying to clear his lines. Miller just slightly off balance. And Waghorn finally went to ground. Nothing there. Zelalem. Mackay. Taken away by Irvine. Only to Tavernier. Clarkson joining in with the defending. Now Mallon trying to release David Clarkson. And Wilson was in real trouble. Advantage rule in operation. There's going to be a yellow card now for Danny Wilson, and he cannot really quibble.
That was excellent play. It was Stevie Mallon that started with that first little pass. David Clarkson showing a little bit of pace that he used to have, getting away from Danny Wilson. He pulled him initially. Referee played the advantage, but David just couldn't get the ball out of his feet. A great counter-attack from St Mirren.
He's catching his breath. David Clarkson started the last 2 games prior to today after missing 4 through injury. Where's Fodringham? Let's talk of Rangers bringing in another goalkeeper. More weeks ahead, bit of competition for Wes Fodringham maybe.
I think that's going to be the key all round, Derek, isn't it? Next season when they go up, competition for places, not just as a goalkeeper, but I think all round the pitch keeps players on their toes.
Stevie Mallon and Rocco Quinn. It's going to be Mallon and Fodringham. Got strong hands on it. Watson back to Gallagher. That block was by Jason Holt, very effective. Holt in there again for Rangers. Goalless so far in Paisley. Tavernier. We will keep you up to date on what happens in the matches involving Falkirk and Hibernian. 0-0 in both. So as things stand, it would be Falkirk finishing second. Hibs would have to go into the playoff quarter-final against Wraith Rovers. Things can change in a hurry though.
Yeah, I don't think Hibs want to be in that third spot. It takes 2 games away from their season. It's been a long season, plenty of games. They would love that recovery in between.
Zelalem, now Miller, and in went Irvine. Fine challenge. Tavernier and Langfield gathering. 10 clean sheets this season. Jeremy Langfield, 10 years with Aberdeen.
I think so far, it's been a spirited performance from St Mirren.
They've been up for the fight. They've been well organised most of the time under Alec Ray. Really working towards next season. St Mirren boss took over in December.
He must see Falkirk in the playoffs, the Wraith Rovers, and he must feel that next season his side can push up. If Rangers go up, potentially Hibs going up, maybe fancy a chance of winning the title.
It was a fair point he made earlier about clubs complaining as regards the schedule for the playoffs. Many a club would just like to be in the playoffs. Kieran, and awkward for Fodringham. Oh, he's made an awful mistake, but it's gone wide. Lawrence Shackland in pursuit of it. It all happened in a blink of an eye.
And just only a couple of minutes ago, Derek, you're talking about Rangers needing a new goalkeeper, somebody for a little bit of competition. He does have his doubters, he does have his deficiencies in his play. For me, you go and clear the ball. Yes, he wants to play the ball out. He gets a huge slice of luck, and that's just that little bit of sloppiness and slackness that has creeped into Rangers over the past 3 or 4 games. That has to be eradicated ASAP.
Well, they do have a bit of sorting out to do prior to the Scottish Cup final. It's going to be a long break before that final against Hibernian. Fodringham, short-footed that time. An advantage or not to have such a break, Stephen.
Yeah, I think when you're match fit and you're ready to go, you'd rather keep playing.
Tavernier, and it might just come to halt. It didn't. Webster making sure of that. And Andy Halliday felt he had been fouled just in the lead up to that Shankland chance. Header by Fodringham.
Yeah, I'll be seeing the referee speaking to Andy Halliday. I'm not too sure that's a free kick. You know, he takes a poor touch, he puts a bad ball into Rob Kiernan, and then disaster nearly for Wes Fodringham. So no free kick.
Wilson, tidy pass, Tavernier. 10 minutes to go to half time. Miller, Tavernier. A nice shape about St Mirren defensively. Tavernier, all the way through against Cooper. Away goes Clarkson. That's Shankland, and Clarkson once more. Rangers had sent bodies forward. Clarkson for Shankland, and Wallace. Well, he solved the problem. The Rangers skipper out of necessity.
A terrific play, but just look at Rob Kiernan in the middle of the picture. I have no idea where he's going. He ends up dropping in towards Danny Wilson, leaves that huge gap, but Lee Wallace sensing the danger. Good full back play, balls on the opposite side, always looking to tuck in. So again, a little let off for Rangers. Poor defending in the centre of the pitch. Lee Wallace had to cover up.
Last day of the Ladbrokes Championship season. Rangers already crowned champions. St Mirren, if results were to go their way today, could climb up to 5th from 7th. Miller. Tavernier. Waghorns in the middle this time. Tavernier and Miller trying to do the playmaking. Want something with Holt. Kenny Miller just fighting off more than he could chew, and Langfield has it.
You know, that's hard to play against, Derek. Players who move the ball sharp, go for 1-2s, take men on. That's hard for defenders to play against, which is why Mark Warburton will want a little bit more of that. You know, sometimes it's a little bit laboured, which allows St Mirren to get back behind the ball, but play with that intensity, hard to play against.
Booted away by Wilson. The flag was up on this near side. More football to come. Thursday the 12th of May, 7 o'clock. Aberdeen against Hearts in the Ladbrokes Premiership. That will be second against third, guaranteed to be. BT Sport 1 for that tussle. Can St Mirren conjure here? Insufficient guile. Free kick was taken by Watson. Gallagher. Unorthodox running style. Well, capable of beating any opponent. Rob Kiernan. Action coming to you from the Paisley 2021 Stadium as it's been renamed. Part of Paisley's bid to be named City of Culture in 2021. Holt. Halliday. Fazal Alem. And he thought he had the better of Rocco Quinn. It's a hard-nosed pro, Rocco Quinn. Joined the club in January after 4.5 years with Ross County.
Well, I just think in January when David Clarkson came in and Shankland, obviously last season, you know, Rocco Quinn, that's trying to just revitalise St Mirren.
Kenny Miller unable to do anything with it. Here's Stevie Mallon. St Mirren always keen to get him on the ball. Clarkson. Shankland has drifted wide. Can they get the shot in? Gallagher supporting. Goal kick. Remember, the playoffs will soon be upon us. Ladbrokes Premiership playoffs, and our coverage starts with the semi-final first leg, confirmed to go ahead on Tuesday the 10th of May from 7. BT Sport 1. Anyone's guess at the moment who will contest that semi-final playoff. First things first.
Well, I think first and foremost, Derek, it's always an exciting end of the season. We've been lucky to cover the last two playoff finals. They've been terrific spectacles for our game.
Now Mallon, nicely disguised. Shankland, Clarkson takes over. Gallagher, St Mirren strike first. Callum Gallagher against his old club on the last day of the championship season, and more problems for Rangers.
And it's the first time in the game where they've really made something happen in the final third. Their build-up play's been decent, their link-up play's been good, but they've just lacked that final little pass. And it's David Clarkson, perfectly weighted pass. I've no idea what Fotheringham is doing. I think he's expecting the ball to go across him. He's expecting the cross. He's gambled. He's been beaten at his near post, but credit to St Mirren, they've taken advantage. Just that extra little step from David Clarkson has allowed him to play that pass to Gallagher. Great finish. St Mirren 1 up.
All the St Mirren fans enjoyed the moment, not so Mark Warburton. Alex, a late season malaise that he could do with that. Callum Gallagher, 8th of the season, and he's done it against the team he used to play for.
Yeah, he'll remember that moment, he certainly will. But I was just looking at the Rangers players' body language, Derek, just before kick-off. Hands in the hips, the shoulders were slightly over a little bit. Do they have the ability now to lift themselves? They've answered their critics this season time and time again, but there's big questions being posed over the last 4 or 5 games. Can they respond?
It's 1 point from the last 3 matches. They've actually lost more games in the championship this season than have Falkirk. 5 for Rangers, 4 for the Bairns. So many pluses, but too many minuses at the end of this campaign. Over by Waghorn as Rangers look to respond. Miller was in there, maybe could have left it for Holt. Wilson. Pass by Wallace. Sliding in was the always committed Naismith. Gideon Zelalem. Pass was by Holt for Miller. Tabadia. Martin Waghorn. That's what he would love to have back. A miscue. Only hit the post earlier. A bit of Rangers might push on from there, but it's St Mirren in front.
I think it's a little bit of desperation. He's being frustrated. He hasn't had enough of the ball. He's wanting to get himself up to match speed. He's probably feeling the pace a little bit. He's missed so many games, but it's interesting, Derek, you're just talking about how well Rangers have done and the plaudits they've had this season. They've currently got 80 points, and Hearts won the league last year with 91, and they didn't get anywhere near the amount of plaudits that Rangers have had. So yes, they've been good, but maybe not as good as what Hearts were last season.
I think balance and perspective always required when analysing a team's performance over the course of the season, and Rangers have been excellent in the majority of their games, but it's undeniably a late season sag. Still time for Rangers to rectify the situation today. Irvin.
And the St Mirren players have visibly got a lift. They're sharp, they're on their toes.
Kenny Miller and Waghorn, that pocket of space. Andy Webster using his experience, and it comes to Lee Wallace, and Wallace has a go, and it was travelling at a fair old rate of knots. Mackay chiseling away, Barry Mackay. Here's Holt. Zelalem. In the final minute of the first half. Mackay to lose Gallagher. It's been a bit laboured at times from Rangers. St Mirren wearing a very obdurate look.
I think this at times, Derek, just highlights their need maybe for a plan B, which could be a taller, more aggressive centre forward.
There's Mackay. Trying to chip it through towards Tavernier, but Irvin takes care of the situation for the Buddies. Mallon. Holt was in the vicinity, and the free kick to St Mirren. It's clever play by Stevie Mallon.
Yeah, it is. He uses his body well between, Jason Holt. But just back to that point of maybe needing something a little bit different. Rangers are passing, probing. They're low at times just to cross the ball deep into the opposition's box.
Now St Mirren will go down that tunnel in front. Callum Gallagher finding the net against his former club. Well taken goal, but questions about Rangers defensively and perhaps about Wes Fodringham in goal. St Mirren 1, Rangers 0. Minutes without a St Mirren goal against Rangers. Gallagher just moves towards the ball, and it will be St Mirren attacking the goal to our right in the second half. Linked towards the south end of the Paisley 2021 stadium. Sure, Mark Warburton didn't mince his words in the dressing room at half-time, Stephen.
No, he won't have. I think in the build-up to this game, he was talking about the disappointment of Livingston during the week, and even the Alloa game where his players just lacked something which he didn't expect and he said he didn't see coming. So he's got another 45 minutes off it today, so I expect harsh words and probably more demands on his players for the second half.
The half-time pies must have been out in force. I say that because the Seagulls are that bit extra voracious as we look at them now.
I think they happen to miss us, right, Derek? Ours haven't arrived yet.
A subtle message perhaps being sent by Mr. Cragen. Here's Mackay. Up towards Tavernier. Halliday. And Clarkson. This is Wallace. Zelalem. That was sloppy at times from Rangers in the first half. Negligence creeping in. There was that near miss earlier. Fodringham in trouble dealing with the back pass, and Shankland nearly scored, but Gallagher finally did score. And here's Holt for Rangers. It's Rangers' last match in the lower leagues. Destined for the Premiership next term. Zelalem. Mackay. Again Gideon Zelalem. Mackay. Defensive prowess from St Mirren in this game to date. See if Rangers can break them down in the second half. Zelalem. Mostly upper cul-de-sac from Rangers. And that takes off. Kenny Miller. Now that is a very expensive microphone, I'm told. No harm done. And Kenny Miller had the presence of mind to put it back in perfect position as well. Maybe he has a future in television.
He's certainly trying his hand at it anyway, that's for sure. But, again, it's just St Mirren being resolute, being organised, forcing Rangers into wide areas, knowing that they don't want to cross the ball. And, that's exactly what St Mirren want to do.
Waghorn. Still to discomfit Webster.
I think Martin Waghorn is trying to show his innocence, but I think he's pushed him once, twice, maybe three times. Eventually he's went down, and it's a silly one because Andy Webster's facing his own goal. He can't really go anywhere, so
only ever made 3 appearances for Rangers, Andy Webster. Was released by Coventry at the end of last season. St Mirren delighted to snap him up. Attempt by Alec Ray to trap the ball there. Highish degree of difficulty, I must say.
It was like a Rene Higuita moment, wasn't it? He was trying to get it back over his head.
Scorpion kick. Touched on by Gallagher. And Naismith getting higher up the pitch. Taking it away from Mackay. Gallagher hitting it across. Zelalem looking to reach it. Mallon looking to angle that one back. Too much on it off the boot of Stevie Mallon, and away goes James Tavernier. Holt. Waghorn. He's still the top scorer in the championship. 3 clear of Jason Cummings of Hibs and John Baird of Falkirk. Mackay. Miller. Zelalem. Mackay. There's not a lot of running room for Rangers. Very congested. And Zelalem only runs out of green space, much to his chagrin.
Just every time the Rangers get up towards the St Mirren box, it's just a sea of black and white jerseys, just holding the middle of the pitch, not really wanting to give anything away. Good pressure by David Clarkson, but just a little moment for Zelalem to move the ball a wee bit quicker.
A change to black and white strips St Mirren just 1 year into their history, 1878. Previously wore scarlet and blue. Did have one season, I'm told, in the 1890s wearing cream tops. Otherwise, black and white stripes all the way for the buddies of Paisley. Corner drop deep, ambitious sort of pass. It's cut out by Naismith. And there's again Jason Naismith. Jamie Langfield gets boot on ball. Clarkson, he's worked his socks off today. Shankland and Clarkson taking the game to Rangers again. Wiley customer. Slip was by Cooper. Waghorn. Rangers ball.
I think the front two have been okay for St Mirren. You know, Shankland and Clarkson, you know, the link-up play's been decent. The interchanging of passes has been okay. Yes, they lack that little bit of pace at times to get away from people, but, you know, they've been a handful.
Mackay. And Miller. And the play it goes. News of a goal in the Falkirk-Morton match. Paul Watson. 3 minutes into the second half. Falkirk, the current occupants of second place. So as things stand, Falkirk would make it all the way through to the playoff semi-final, and Hibs would have to take on Wraith Rovers over 2 legs. No news of any scoring in the Hibs Queen of the South game.
Well, that's a huge goal for Peter Houston, isn't it? Huge goal for his side. They've been ever so impressive. We've covered him a few times this season, and you can't help but be impressed with the job that he's done.
If it were to finish 1-0 Falkirk, Hibs would require a 4-0 victory against Queen of the South in order to finish ahead of the Bairns. Big ask. From the Rangers' point of view, they might not mind if Hibs have 2 additional games to think about.
Yeah, well, that would be their mindset, you know, but I think the way they've played in the opening 52 minutes of this game, the way they've played the last few games, they've got their own problems, their own concerns, their own worries to try and get players back up to speed, to get back to the level of performance they've shown most of the season, because it's been a little bit flat, to say the least.
Been very plodding from Rangers today, certainly. Kenny Miller and Jason Naismith for company.
Certainly a full-hearted challenge. Kenny Miller getting another one in the face. He had one in the first half, one in the second half, but you know, he's the one, you know, he's trying to ignite his teammates, he's trying to make something happen, even at 36, 37, he's trying to pick people up. I expect others to try and carry that can, but so far today they haven't.
Well, the 36-year-old has scored 12 times already in the calendar year of 2016. Waghorn. What he found on that right-hand side for Rangers. Mallon passing with a bit of danger. He's a confident young player. Here's Wallace. Mackay. Stumble was by Gallagher. Bright sunshine now in Paisley. Tavernier with a shimmy. Going around the outside, and Miller! The equaliser for Rangers, and Kenny Miller makes it 13 in 2016. Perfectly worked.
And yet again, he's the man that comes to the fore when his side really need him. But for me, it's all about the cross. I think when James Tavernier, when he gets himself to the touchline, when he gets himself that deep, The only place you can put that ball is high and deep to the back post, and Kenny Miller knows that. Kenny gambles, he gets himself inside Jason Naismith, who, to be fair, has defended reasonably well most of the afternoon. But Kenny Miller's alert, he knows the ball's coming. Great header into the box. Look at the movement, just getting across people. Any young striker watching, that's how you get goals.
Kenny Miller, who once netted 5 in a game against St Mirren. He was with Rangers back in November 2000, and he might be in again here, Miller. Difficult angle from which to work. It's quick fire, quick ball. And then Watson and Miller locking horns. Referee Don Robertson sensibly gets in the way of the pair of them.
Again, it's a great ball in. Kenny playing in the shoulder, playing in between people. Could he have headed it? I'm not too sure. This is where it started from. I think Keith Watson just left a little bit on Kenny, just pushed him in. If Kenny's alert, he's bright, he's always looking for that little bit of space. And now he wants to get involved in a bit of heavyweight boxing.
Jabbing away at each other. Shot for handball there as it came off Holt. And Gallagher tries to fly back into position. Naismith was higher up the pitch. Fortunately by Mackay. Wallace and off Watson. And Rangers look altogether more confident. Corner here.
Well, the goal has given them a huge lift. It's given them a little spring in their step. They want to now go on, try and win this game, move things quicker, get the ball down the side, keep things alive, go on and get a winner. That's what they're looking to try and do.
By Mackay will be the man to take this. Short to Holt. Here's Zelalem. Leading it back. Funded away by Watson. Tavernier. Zelalem. That Holt made himself available. By Mackay. Watson was put to work. And Naismith's turn. Into the West Bank, as it's sometimes referred to. That streamer being removed. Streamers plural. Bit of gardening.
And this is the goal again. This is what Tavernier has done all season long. He's got to the byline. He's been a supply for strikers. But Kenny Miller, you can't teach young players that. You have to learn it. You have to do it. You have to continually do the same thing. And that's why Kenny's been so successful in his career.
10 and 16 for Rangers against St Mirren for Miller. Mackay. And it's going to be another Rangers corner as they try to ratchet things up. Holt. Zelalem. Kenny Miller. Straight at Jamie Langfield.
I think you have to enjoy what Rangers try and do at corner kicks. They always take it short, they always try something different, they try and work it into a shooting position. It's that man again, Kenny Miller, who's having an inspired 5 or 10 minutes, Derek, so far, and his teammates just seem to be following suit with him.
Mark Warburton perhaps thinking about a change here. Wallace. Telegraph it to Waghorn. Second half possession. 75% with Rangers.
Well, that's not unusual to them. That's what they've done most of the season. They've dominated the ball, they've dictated play. That's what Mark Warburton wanted at the start of the season. The players have followed suit. Just today at times they've been a little bit flat, but eventually they're now up to the speed of the game.
John Ball might well be coming on for Rangers. This is Naismith. Oh, it's an excellent ball. Superbly played over, and Shankland doing his best to reach it.
And just when you're talking at the other end of the pitch, when you watch Kenny Miller, he gambles, he gets himself into position, he expects the ball to come into a dangerous area. Nobody really in the St Mirren team, I think Alex Cooper at the top of the picture, doesn't gamble. You've got to get across people. That's where you get your reward.
Really swinging between the boxes now. Tavernier. The up and under. Mackay wasn't going to be favourite in the air against Naismith. The last touch by Jason Naismith. Another set piece opportunity for Rangers. Journey of just 7.4 miles along the M8 from Ibrox to the Paisley 2021 stadium. Mackay was looking for that head flick. Kenny Miller had moved into position. I think that's going to be it for Martin Waghorn. No great surprise given an hour in his comeback match. Don Ball has been getting ready. The Rangers will want to almost wrap Waghorn in cotton wool ahead of the cup final. Don Ball's last game with Rangers, on loan as he is from Tottenham.
Yeah, and you would think that Martin Waghorn's got a little bit of work to do, Derek. You know, he will now know himself. He's a little bit short of fitness. He's got a little bit more work to do. It's a big 20 days for him before the cup final, but Dominic Ball getting a chance to come on and play in front of the Rangers fans one more time.
So the reason why it's his last game is that he's suspended for the Scottish Cup final. Mackay. Rangers with their tails up now. Splendid pass it was. Holt. Challenge came in from Irvin. Zelalem trying to find the angle. Gideon Zelalem. The Rangers look as though they mean business now.
Well, that's when they're at their best. You know, when the opposition attacking, they leave spaces. You get Holt going from midfield. You get Zelalem getting up in support. Good play on the edge of the box. You know, he can play in tight areas ever so well. Young Zelalem, he moves the ball. He eventually opens up the gap, but St Mirren looking in the racks a little bit, and Rangers now starting to look powerful and drive into the game.
Lewis Morgan coming on for St Mirren. Alex Cooper has gone off. Lewis Morgan, Paisley born, 19 years of age. It'll be his 22nd appearance of the campaign in all. Off the head of Wallace. Shackland just tried to change the gear. Jason Holt. Rangers players driving each other forward more now. Not as tentative as they were earlier in the game. Pass by Ball. Tavernier, the intended target.
Oh, it's as if they've just kind of galvanised themselves, Derek. You know, the goal sometimes helps.
Well, there they are. Stephen Thompson, Jim Goodwin warming up. A bit of chatter between the pair of them. St Mirren saying goodbye to Messrs Thompson and Goodwin today. Terrific servants.
It's always a tough day, Derek, you know, when you spend quite a long time at a club. You know, I had it 4 years ago when I left Motherwell. It can be an emotional day, an emotional week for you. So, you know, the two will just be desperate to get on the pitch.
Yes, you know what it's like, Stephen. On the day. Tavernier having to give it back to St Mirren. A case of coordinated colours with the beards as well, the black and white of St Mirren. Well done, gents. Let's see if St Mirren can get something started. They've got Morgan on. Tavernier taking command of the situation. Looking to make inroads. Rangers with a firmer hold on the reins now. No news of any scoring in that Hibs Queen of the South game, but there has been a twist because Mark Miller of Queen of the South has been ordered off. So Queen of the South down to 10 men. Remember, as long as Falkirk win any sort of victory, then it would take a sizable Hibs triumph for them to finish ahead of Falkirk in the table. There is nothing there. Watson. Incident off the ball. It was Dominic Ball. Just to get out with Lawrence Shankland.
I think the referee got them both right. I think Jason Naismith had clashed with Lee Wallace, and Dominic Ball had clashed with with Lawrence Shankland, and its players just gone down a little bit easy trying to win a free kick, so I think the right decision.
Tanzania, you see the decision go his way. Clarkson wasn't too happy about the verdict of Don Robertson, French referee who was actually with St Mirren as a player many years ago as a young player. Not just St Mirren, Partick Thistle, Queen's Park as well.
It's unusual, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's unusual to see ex-players or somebody who's played the senior game. I've been at a senior club, Derek, to be involved in refereeing.
Miller's pass. Tavernier, and now Halliday. Jason Holt was demanding the ball. Tavernier. This is out Holt. Caught up by Gallagher. Lawrence Shankland. Something refreshingly old school about Shankland's play. Bit of a throwback. I mean that in a good way.
Oh no, he is. I just think the way he moves his body and the way he protects his ball, I think it's beyond his years sometimes. I think it's natural. We can see that he lacks a little bit of pace, but he's got really good attributes.
Wallace taking it away from Gallagher, and now Mackay. St Mirren trying to close ranks. Barry Mackay, shooting chance, foiled by Langfield. Fine goalkeeping.
It's excellent individual play by Barry Mackay, but look at the running power and the willingness of Lee Wallace. He gets beyond, he causes problems, he makes defenders think. Good save, Jamie Langfield.
Just rolling back. Mackay having tried to spot it. Some more orthodox Rangers corner this time. That's the one that went awry. Oops.
Yeah, it was strange. I think we've spoke about them playing the short corners and moving the ball well, but for some reason everybody came towards the ball and they overhit. But I think from St Mirren's point of view, Derek, they haven't had really any fluence in the second half, no real rhythm, and can't really get a foothold in the game.
Rangers a lot more polished and purposeful in this half. Miller, Mackay. Deciding whether or not to take on Naismith. Back the way to Wallace, the dummy by Miller. Watson is pushing it through. Up against Zelalem. Halliday. Tavernier. Jason Holt. Trying to keep the St Mirren defenders on their toes. The Rangers find an angle that the Buddies have no answer to defensively. Zelalem. Holt. Mackay. Tavernier just stabbing it into the path of ball. Miller. James Tavernier. Rocked a bit by the always alert Mirren, but Tavernier again. Andy Halliday. Short to Kenny Miller. Rangers go into the passing routine once more. Zelalem. To Naismith. Eddie and Zelalem. Jason Holt. Bounced off Andy Webster. Now Morgan. There's Clarkson. It's an intelligent piece of play off the ball by Clarkson to get there. Foul though by David Clarkson. Not best pleased.
Just for a spell there, it was like like a training practice where Rangers had the ball. It was like attack v defence. St Mirren sitting in. We can hear the fans round about us. Just asking for somebody to put a little bit of pressure on the ball, and it's far too easy for Rangers. So St Mirren have to at least a little bit try and play just sometimes a wee bit higher up the pitch.
There's ball. Wilson. Mackay. Gallagher trying to get back in a hurry. There's a big space on that side. Mackay and Miller rattles the woodwork. Well, Langfield reached up and he had a part to play in that as well. Corner.
It's very impressive, incisive play, isn't it? You know, good ball by Danny Wilson, releases Barry Mackay, great pick out, great save, good dummy. Excellent play all round. Really, really impressive for Rangers. I think, you know, the frustrations for Mark Warburton is he maybe just hasn't seen enough of it in the last month, but when it comes together, it's a real joy to watch and very, very difficult to play against.
Zelalem. Rangers fans watching will be thinking this is more like it with the cup final against Hibernian in mind. The Rangers won the Scottish Cup. You're looking at European football from the middle of July. If not, then it's the League Cup group stage in July. Tavernier, ball. Holiday. Tavernier, a bit clumsy there. See if St Mirren can create. Mallon. Down he goes. And handled the ball, Stevie Mallon.
They just don't look convincing going forward anymore, do they? You know, they're giving the ball away, they're kind of sitting a little bit deeper. When the ball goes forward, there's not enough support coming from midfield. So, you know, I think St Mirren would rightly take a point now. Would be delighted with the draw because they've made a little impact in the game.
Watson has been penalised. Pete Watson felt he had done nothing wrong. Trying to take the ball away from Barry Mackay.
I'm not too sure there's an awful lot wrong with that, Derek. You know, is it the aggressive manner in which, you know, which he goes in? He doesn't try and hurt Barry Mackay. He quite clearly takes the ball. He doesn't touch the player. So I'm not too sure what the free kick is for.
Released by Dundee United at the end of last season. And apologies for the bad language that our microphones picked up. Stephen Thompson is readying himself for action. And Jim Goodwin too. Mackay. There's Mallon, tight by the touchline. Dominic Ball. A bit more than 18 minutes left. News of a goal for Hibernian against Queen of the South on 67 minutes. So Falkirk in front and Hibernian in front as well. So there's the, as it stands, table. Remember, Hibs would need a 4-0 win if it stays 1-0 to Falkirk against Morton. Nicholas Gunnarsson with that goal for Hibs. It goes. It's away by Fodringham in the nick of time. Shankland. Gallagher. Naismith. Dangerous ball, and Clarkson is inside the penalty area. Just didn't quite arrive on the head of David Clarkson.
Oh, but it's much better play from St Mirren, isn't it? Getting forward, full-backs overlapping, going, committing themselves.
Mackay. Having a bit of a job there in reaching it. Irvin. Lewis Morgan. Fleet-footed youngster. Well, these are not youngsters, but my goodness, they have been terrific professionals for St Mirren. Jim Goodwin and Stephen Thompson. Rangers making changes as well. Zelalem replaced by Shields. Nicky Clark's going to come on for Kenny Miller. Well taken goal by Miller earlier. 20th of the season in all. That was St Mirren fans in front of us, on their feet. An appreciation of Stephen Thompson and Jim Goodwin. David Clarkson, Callum Gallagher. Even though numbers are up, Stephen Thompson, Paisley-born St Mirren fan, ending his career with the Paisley Saints, and Jim Goodwin, who lifted the trophy going back to the 2013 League Cup final. Just confirm all the substitutions for you. As Rangers get on with it here. There's no foul play, much to the annoyance of Andy Halliday.
I think you just even see the current St Mirren players, Derek, the high regard and high esteem they hold Jim Goodwin and Stephen Thompson in, shaking their hands, patting them the back. Terrific to see.
I think a nice touch to have them go on together. Same point of the game. Outside here. That was up against Nicky Clark, who has just come on.
I can imagine though they had different objectives coming on. I think Stephen Thompson would have wanted to score the winning goal. I wonder if Jim Goodwin wanting the booking, Derek. Jim's always renowned for getting the booking. Can he get a red? Can he get a yellow? Be interesting to see.
Remember, it's the Dundee Derby tomorrow. BT Sport 1 coverage from 7. Unless Dundee United win, they will be relegated tomorrow. And it's Inverness against Dundee United coming up on Friday. Also BT Sport 1 from 7:15. You'd think it would happen. If not tomorrow, then Friday. But let's see if United have fight left in them.
Well, they haven't had it so far this season, Derek. That's been the biggest disappointment for Dundee United. So one more chance tomorrow night to try and redeem themselves ever so slightly.
James Tavernier. Rob Kiernan. Just to keep you up to date with what's happening in the important games at the top of the championship, near the top of the championship. Falkirk leading, Hibernian leading. As it stands, Falkirk would finish second, Hibs third. That would mean a playoff quarter-final meeting of Wraith Rovers and Hibernian. Falkirk would get the bye into the semis. Andy Clark. Andy Webster. The intervention there near the touchline.
I think Andy Webster was asking the referee why or what was the situation, but I think Nicky Clark had skipped round him. He decided to put his body in the way and make it a bigger obstacle, so it'll be a soft free kick, shall we say.
Tavernier to take this. Morgan a bit too close to Tavernier for his liking. It comes from Tavernier. Wilson was up looking to cause havoc. Barry Mackay on the ground, and Jason Holt trying to redirect that one.
I think Jason Holt, just a little poor touch. I'm not too sure if he was expecting the ball to come to him, but could possibly have been a better first touch.
Ray Wallace is going to be called over. Shankland going down. Didn't seem to be very much of any contact. And there was right at the end. In fairness.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure if initially it was for intent of Lee Wallace, but I'm not too sure you can get booked for standing on somebody's little toe. That's exactly what happened. So it's a very soft free kick in the last day of the season for a yellow card as well.
Lee Wallace having his name taken by Don Robertson.
You think if Big Sutty was here, Derek, he'd be looking for red. He would be. That was a dangerous tackle on somebody's toe.
So goodbye, Urban for St Mirren. And he will be with us tomorrow, Chris Sutton, on Tayside. Holt. David Weir has been told to calm down a bit by Gavin Duncan, the fourth official. Tavernier's pass, Halliday looking over his shoulder. It might Yeah, full for Holt. Just couldn't keep the shot down.
And another chance goes a begging, isn't it? You know, it's good attacking play. Holiday down your right hand side, opening up to Mirren again. Ball's always going away. It's always going up in the air, always rising above the bar. But Jason Holt would have expected himself to do a lot better than that.
Rangers well ahead in terms of attempts. Mirren played excellent football in the first half. They've had their moments the past few minutes. Rangers a lot better in this half. We approach the final 10 minutes on the last day of the championship season. Rangers' final game in the lower divisions. It's their 150th game in the lower divisions if you count the playoffs.
We've been there, Derek, haven't we? You know, we've been to Montrose, we've been to Forfar, we've been all around the country, you know, covering their games, and I think this season they've certainly deserved to be back up to the top flight.
Jason Holt and Jim Goodwin. Never shies away from a tackle, does he, Jim Goodwin? Mackay. Clarkson there, Shields is in there. Dean Shields, one of the players who took part in that very first game in the lower divisions for Rangers away to Peterhead. It's Barry Mackay who scored the first goal.
Well, there was a few players brought in back then, and you know, their job was to get Rangers back to the top flight. Some sets took a year longer than what they expected, but guys like Lee Wallace has been there too, so it's been a long road. But I think next season, when the season kicks off and Rangers are back in the top flight, it will have been worth it.
Kiernan. It's a strong enough head on the ball, and here is Wes Fodringham, the Rangers player to play every minute of every game this season. Nothing there, Nicky Clark on the ground. He thought about looking over towards the referee. Goodwin not holding back. Oh, that was a meaty challenge for you. Certainly got the St Mirren fans in front of us fired up. Nicky Clark, it was Webster that time. Goodwin again. Naismith. It gets louder once more. I think that had much to do with a certain Mr Goodwin. Here he is, the Irishman from Waterford. Marco Quinn forward to Lewis Morgan. Ball not really wanting to accept the decision, but it has been taken. Free kick to St Mirren with 8 minutes left. Taken quickly by Goodwin. He was trying to make the connection with Thompson.
Well, Jim's given his teammates a lift just by his enthusiasm and his willingness to go and compete in the game. St Mirren have been flat for the last 20-25 minutes, so Jim certainly has, roused the fans. His teammates are going with him. Normally it's a piece of skill that gets people going, but for Jim it's a good old-fashioned tackle.
Barry Mackay. Football needs characters, and I'll tell you what, Jim Goodwin is certainly that, and we're all going to miss him end of the season. Stephen Thompson using all his guile to unsettle Rob Kiernan. Did well, Thompson. Shanklin to Morgan now. Lewis Morgan, goalkeeper's ball. Fodringham collects. Jason Holt. Danger of showing too much of the ball to the buddies.
He's trying to get that booking, Jim, isn't he? Jim, he can just sense, the enthusiasm's still there for someone, who's in the latter years of their career, but always looking to push on as Jim and try and get involved in the game.
Wallace. Rangers players will be given a few days off after this game, and they'll come back to get ready for the closed doors match down south against Tottenham. Preparation in earnest for the cup final. So the pass it was, and it's Tavernier, and Clark was on the doorstep, but Langfield able to grab hold of it.
Young Lewis Morgan just switching off, just being unaware of where James Tavernier is and where the space is in behind him, and Jimmy Langfield just pulling him out of a hole with a good confident save.
Hibs have scored a second. Jason Cummings on 79 minutes, and remember they're up against 10 men. So if it remains 1-0 Falkirk in the other match, if Hibs can muster 2 more, then they would get second. Holton, good win, almost dipped all over him. That is going to be a free kick and a yellow card as well for Jim Goodwin.
I think it's a little bit harsh. You know, he does get himself caught on the wrong side. You know, he's trying to avoid the contact. You know, the referee has to be sensible. He has to understand, you know, what kind of day it is for Jim, an emotional day. I know he has to referee properly, but for me that's not a yellow card. Yes, it's a clear free kick, so poor decision from the ref.
Rarely too far away from a caution, Jim Goodwin, but wholehearted. And he served St Mirren so well. Inside the final 5 minutes, the Rangers have a second goal in them. Scored 14 goals in the final 5 minutes of matches in all competitions this season, the Ibrox club. It's James Tavernier, big deflection, and Langfield unable to prevent the corner.
An almost wrong-footed Jimmy Langfield. You know, Tavernier we've seen before, much better free kicks than that, but it's a let-off.
10-0 in terms of corners. Mackay takes this one, the leap by Wilson seemed to hang in the air. It's away by Morgan. Thompson get into position to control it. Wallace making sure of that. Aberdeen against Hearts is coming your way Thursday the 12th of May, 7 o'clock. That's on BT Sport 1, second against third in the Premiership. And the Ladbrokes Premiership Playoffs, the semi-final first leg, Tuesday the 10th of May, 7 o'clock, BT Sport 1 for that game. Shankland, not quite. Ball for Wallace. Now Holt scurrying through. Clark. Goodwin couldn't keep up with Nicky Clark. Tavernier. And a switch on the afterburners. Webster calmly away. Tangled up. Thompson and Kiernan, but the flag had been raised by Paul O'Neill.
Stephen Thompson just straight offside. He was trying to work his way back on offside, but you know, this is where St Mirren, you know, they've worked hard, they've put themselves about, they've competed well. You know, I think a 1-1 draw will be good reward for them, but can they hold on?
Clark trying to work the 1-2 with Jason Holmes. Can he score? There's the answer. Rangers might be bowing out of the lower divisions with a victory. Jason Holmes scores for the third time against St Mirren this season.
And St Mirren couldn't just hold on. You know, it's good play again. They're always passing, they're probing. It's Nicky Clark, it's Jason Holt. I think that's been the story of their season. In and around their box, Derek, when it's been tight and it's been compact, they've been able to continually come up with the answers. They've been able to continually find that pass that has just unlocked the door. And 88 minutes into the last game of the season, when they haven't been at their best, they've managed to find a way to possibly and probably win this game.
Well, you're looking at a man who's been signed up until 2020, Jason Holt, and goals very much part of his game, his 12th of the season, his first since the 3-2 defeat against Hibernian. Here's Thompson for St Mirren trying to thread it through. Michael Quinn had got higher up the pitch. A bit cruel on St Mirren. Had it stayed 1-1 and had it finished 2-0 to Hibs against Queen of the South, St Mirren were looking at creeping up into 6th to end the season. Who knows, maybe they can find another goal themselves. Morgan. Opposed by Ball. Lewis Morgan, away by Lee Wallace. Naismith. Oh, and the shooting chance, low and hard. It was hit, certainly with enough authority. Clarkson. They try to come back for more, St Mirren. It's going to be a free kick. Let's have a look at the St Mirren chance.
And it's a good response, you just wonder where St Mirren be flat, would they be low? It's Gary Irvin have a little chance. It's a good save, and there's possible question marks of offside. He could slightly be offside, I'm not too sure. It's a very, very tight call. The linesman on the far side has let it go, and then the quality of Jason Hope, but I'm sure Alec Ray will be looking at the end of the game.
Beautiful finish by Jason Holt. Gary Irvin coming close for St Mirren just a minute or so ago. And out of time at the end of the game. Trying to make that lung-bursting run from left back, Irvin. It's turned out of play by Kiernan.
You just think on the balance of play, Derek, the second half in particular, the chances Rangers have had, and the shots, the attempts and goal, you just felt something was coming. And Mark Warburton, at half-time, did he have strong words? Was it harsh words? Whatever he said has certainly worked.
Shankland himself up with the long throw. Stephen Thompson. He was shot happy, and you can understand why. Mackay. 9,933 the official attendance today. 3,663 Rangers fans in attendance. St Mirren's largest crowd of the campaign. And maybe one last chance to get it forward for the Buddies. Well, they'll hope to improve matters next season under Alec Ray. Lewis Morgan, and the shot by Morgan. 2-2 in added time at the end. Unbridled St Mirren joy.
And it's terrific play. You can see the Rangers players all setting up for the long ball into the box. Gary Irvine was clever, he moved the ball quick, he got it out to Morgan. It's excellent play, I think Tavernier has to show him down the outside. He can't allow him to come inside and open the pitch up for himself. Get him down the outside, try and defend 1v1, but he doesn't. He allows him to come into the pitch. Suddenly the full goal's opened up. Fothering can't get across in time. And what a wonderful goal, what a wonderful way for St Mirren to finish the season with a great quality finish.
Delight etched on the face of Alec Ray as he celebrates with Davy Farrell, his assistant. Lewis Morgan off the bench to great effect. His first goal for St Mirren. Well, it's rather ruined the storyline from the Rangers' point of view. I thought they were going to be celebrating the last match in the championship with a victory. Mackay. You could argue that over the piece St Mirren deserve it. Alec Ray will be the happier of the two managers. Journey's end for Rangers, though, in the championship, in the lower divisions. And Jim Goodwin and Stephen Thompson say goodbye to St Mirren at the same time. Stephen Thompson, who has Rangers in his past as well. Real gumption displayed by St Mirren to get a point out of this, but disappointment for Rangers. They wanted to end the poor run of results ahead of the cup final. That hasn't happened here at Paisley. Final score, St Mirren 2, Rangers 2.